Welcome to the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit. We are so glad that you are here today. And we wanted to just welcome you to joining us live and watching the replay. We are glad that you tuned in. We are your MCs, Yvonne Marchese and Jill Olish.
Yeah, good morning. Hello, good morning, afternoon. Where are we? Hi, Jill. Today, we are gathering creators, business owners, entrepreneurs for a very lovely roundtable discussion about the path to real success. What is that anyway? It's a conversation I'm really looking forward to. We're going to be talking about where we came from, our past jobs, corporate life, detours, and real world experience, and about how those chapters helped shape who we are as business owners today. Nothing's wasted in life experience and lots learned, right?
Right. Well, this summit is for everyone, the entrepreneurs who are figuring it out, who are doing it, who are wanting to do it, as well as those who just need a reminder that they're not alone. Whether you're facing doubt, seeking community, or looking for fresh insights, you will find your people here. The Fierce Entrepreneur Summit is a way for us to share the real challenges of entrepreneurship and find the courage to keep going on our entrepreneurial adventures.
Absolutely. And I love that this summit happens 4 times a year.
Mhm.
It's a chance to think really deeply about what it takes to build a business that doesn't own you. And when we gather together like this, especially on an ongoing basis, and we share our stories, it's like magic. That's where we remember that we are not alone in this thing.
For sure. So we wanted to introduce all of our participants today, our roundtable leaders and featured speakers. And so let's see, we'll start with Yvonne. And because we are your MCs today, we wanted to introduce ourselves so you know who you're even listening to right now. But Yvonne Marchese, you are the host of the Late Bloomer Living podcast and founder of the Age Agitators Club. She is inspiring women to live playfully at any age and is a best-selling author, speaker, photographer, and a firm believer that midlife is filled with possibility because it's never too late to chase a dream.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Thanks for that introduction. And Jill Olish is a first-time mom and entrepreneur who stepped into both roles during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whew, crazy, mind-blowing stuff. After she navigated postpartum anxiety and depression, she founded Mama Outspoken to help other moms find their voices and advocate for themselves and feel seen through every transition of motherhood. Jill is a published author. She's a podcast host a few times over. She's a community leader, building a meaningful life in business while showing moms that their dream life is possible too.
We also have Donna, who is Donna Bender, excuse me. We want to make sure we give all of their names, not just their first names. But we have Donna Bender, who is a branding and marketing strategist, certified givologist, and author of The Art of Givology. She has years of experience at Calvin Klein and Ferragamo. She teaches how thoughtful gifting can elevate a brand, deepen relationships, and keep you top of mind.
Absolutely. Also, we have Denise Millay. She's our own personal technology simplifier and search consultant for entrepreneurs and business owners. We won't keep her to ourselves, though. You can also take advantage of her services. She is also a podcaster, author, roving reporter for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. She is our findability queen, and she's on a mission to make sure that the content that you're creating for your business is included in search results so that your potential customers can find you. That's important when you're running a business, right? She believes every entrepreneur can tap into the enormous audience using search engines every day so that they can bring viewers, listeners, visitors to the content created for their business. And she makes it all simplified.
Mm-hmm. We also have Adam Rothenberg, who is the creator of the entertainment platform Call Me Adam and host of Bearing It All with Call Me Adam podcast. with more than 2,200, which we're going to have to get the updated number on that one because I know it's more now, but 2,200 celebrity interviews under his belt. He's known for his warmth and curiosity, where he brings out the real stories behind the spotlight. And now he's starting his own sharing his own in his new book, Behind the Curtain.
Absolutely. We also have the freaking fabulous Kat Corchado, who is not just your average physical trainer. She is a movement specialist. She's a proud military veteran with a dash of fabulousness, more than a dash, I think. And what she's done is she's channeled her expertise into creating the Fit for Life Alliance and the Keep It Moving community, which is an online fitness sanctuary designed especially for midlife women. Kat believes everyone has the right to feel good in their body, and she helps us get there.
Yes. And lastly, we also have Kim White, who is the founder and fierce leader of the My Sexy Business team and community. And we are so excited to bring everyone up on stage to get this conversation started.
We got some glitter going here. Glitter. And here they are.
Fantastic. All right. So welcome everyone to the stage. We would like to hand over the mic to our roundtable leaders, Kat and Denise. If we would love to do that and let you guys get us started on this conversation today.
Keep the Zoom glitter going throughout, okay? Just so everybody knows, it's part of the deal, all right? So, we're talking about the path to real success, and everybody has had a kind of a zigzag. It has never been a straight line. I don't think there's one of us on the stage that started in point A and is still really close to it today. So I guess the first question I want to ask everybody is, what was happening in your life when this business started for you? What became this business for you? Where were you? Who wants to go first? Adam?
Sure, I will start. So I started this business in 2008. I just celebrated 17 years. At the time, I was looking for a way to continue to entertain people because I was working in corporate. I had just stopped doing stand-up comedy, but I still wanted to entertain people. And a friend of mine suggested that I start my own blog and ask the artists and celebrities that I have admired. I asked them questions, and that is, in a nutshell, how it all began for me. And I did that for, I would say, through up until the pandemic. I did it side by side of having a corporate day job. And then during the pandemic is when I took the leap into entrepreneurship.
And what a journey it's been.
Yes.
How about you, Donna?
Thanks, Denise. Well, actually, this business that I'm in now happened by happenstance, as we say, because it came after a big move and a decision for moving from New York to Dallas. And at that time in my life, I really was in burnout from all the years I was working in New York, corporate and having my own business. And I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I always say God plans and man plans and God laughs. And so what I found when I got to Dallas, the circumstances changed and I needed to find a job. And I thought I was going to go back to corporate America. But I always say it's like the line out of The Godfather. You got out. Why do you want to go back in? So I had lunch with someone who was in the promotional products industry and telling me all about what it was about and all the things. And it was not an industry I favored. To me, it was cheap pens, mugs, T-shirts, a salesy salesman who was going to sell everything in his trench coat. And I took some time and thought about it. And I said, well, if I could create a business that is more of my taste level and the taste level of the brands that I worked for, then maybe I would do it. And the thing is, I started in a new business in a totally different part of the country, not knowing a soul, and 180 degrees different than everybody else. So I always like challenges in my life. And because, everybody would get a mug and they'd call all their clients and say, you got to buy this mug. But I was always looking for something new and unique and wasn't mainstream and everybody didn't see yet. And so doing that and getting people to understand, it was a lot of education. And it does, you don't get business overnight. So, but I had maintained that philosophy and did not succumb to selling the cheap pens and the cheap mugs. Although I will tell people when something is inexpensive and it's good.
And we are so thankful, Donna. So
Yeah.
thankful.
Yeah.
Because we all have some really great stuff that we
Aw.
use for our businesses, and it has not broken the bank.
Well,
Let's put it
I'm
that way.
glad. So anyway, that's what happened. And now 20 years later, I am still in the business. So
Good for you. Anybody else?
I'll jump in. This particular business, my podcast is what started it off, Late Bloomer Living. And the podcast itself, let me just say, isn't a business. It's a podcast and it's a passion project, which has led me to thinking about how can I serve the listeners of my podcast by creating a business around it. And where I was, that was the reason for starting this, is that I call myself the pivot queen sometimes. I started off my early life, all I ever wanted to do was perform as an actress, and that was my goal. That's what I pursued for many, many years, until I didn't when I had kids, and I decided, nope, I don't want to do both of those things. Then I found photography, and I built a photography business on the side of working regular jobs for many years. I finally went full time as a photographer, and you would think that you finally get to a goal and everything's like, yay, we're here now. But no, as I was approaching the age of 50, there was something, I felt like there was something more. And I also felt like all through my 40s, I'd been telling myself it was too late to do something new, too late to do anything. And I made some personal changes. I started taking better care of myself and established a morning routine. And that morning routine changed everything, because when I started feeling better, I started getting hopeful about my future and started seeing more possibility. And I thought, maybe I'm not the only person my age who feels like there's more to be had, which triggered the idea for the podcast, which it's been like an unraveling or an unwrapping of an onion, as you will, to where that's led me to today.
Wow, that's a history. It's like 6 degrees of entrepreneurship, right?
Exactly.
How about you, Jill? Where have you been when this first came to you?
Yeah. I had a problem, and this was my solution. So I had just had my first child, and I needed another way of doing work. Could not wrap my mind around leaving my child in daycare and working to pay just for that. So after some conversation with my sister, who had dabbled in some virtual work, she was like, why don't you go this route? And it turned out from going from kind of almost pivoting like Yvonne, starting out in one place and then grown into so many other things. And Yeah, so it really came to be out of a problem that I had, and this was the solution to really start having the life I wanted to have while raising children.
It's amazing. Kat, tell us your tale of how you got to be where you are today. What was happening when it first started for you?
I think I was kind of like Yvonne. I kept feeling like there's something missing, or is this it? Shouldn't there be more to this? I think I was a little tired of helping other entrepreneurs make money. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm a 1099 girl, so I was working for other studios, and I just felt like there was something more. And I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't know how it was going to look. I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want a brick and mortar, but I didn't know what it looked like online, if I wanted to do something online. So I felt like I was stuck until I wasn't, thanks to a princess named Kim White. So.
Yes, we all have some thanks to give to the princess, and I think we need to hear a little bit of how she got to today as well.
I think I'm the craziest entrepreneur up here, I will say that, because mine was all over the place. I never knew the possibilities or my options. I never knew, I came from very poor background, very limited opportunities, and I started following what I could. At 16, I opened a furniture store and a gift shop. I realized I hated it because I was a teenager and I wanted to drive up and down the road in the car I had bought, but I had to be stuck in the store, so I had to pivot from that. But I have done all kinds of things. I have had a hobby farm that turned into an organic farm for like a route to drop off vegetables and eggs and things. I have had a beef jerky business that was pretty big time. I have had like an oil and gas business. I have had all these crazy things only to land here and love every second of what I do today. I think that's the part that I love the most, is the community aspect of it. So I find it funny to think back, because so many people have that crisscross, all over the place, don't know what they want to be when they grow up. And I think that was me. But now getting in a groove of, I love this and I have more opportunities and possibilities. So that is a crazy entrepreneur adventure, is what I am.
Can I just say that just when I think I know everything there is to know about you, Kim, I learned something new. I had no idea that you had an organic farm or a beef jerky business.
I think it's humorous now, but at the time I was so focused and so serious. It started like all the other things that we're kind of talking about. It started as a kind of I would make it for my husband and he would take it to work. Everybody started wanting to buy some, so it turned into I had to literally go get a commercial kitchen to be able to do it. So what turned out to be something that was a snack I was learning how to make turned into 24/7 operation, and I never did keep up. Like we were always sold out. So I think that that's a testament, though, to the entrepreneurial thread in each of us versus getting stuck on, but I can't do that because this is where I came from. I can do that because this is where I came from. So
I think it's interesting that seeing you all and knowing all of you, when I hear you speak about your business, it just fits. Like I can't imagine Adam going, I'm going to go into fitness now. I'm not doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, of course you're an entertainment king, interview king. Of course, Donna's doing branded merch and all of the things. Of course, Yvonne is doing like, I can't see you guys. So you can't change. I'm just going to say, you can't change what you're doing. Do another business if you have to, but Jill will always be Mama Outspoken, and Denise will always be the SEO queen to me. So don't confuse me as I get older, you guys, and
Oh,
change into
get ready to
something
be
else.
confused, Kat, because I got changes coming.
Slowly and gently, Yvonne. That's all I'm going to say. Slowly and gently. Okay. I have a question for everyone. What influenced you in the beginning, or what influences you now day to day to continue staying or being an entrepreneur? If anything, is it any one thing, any person that you're continuously inspired by, or maybe it's just you that inspires yourself?
I'll jump in and say, well, first, Kat, I just want to say it's funny you mentioned fitness for me, because way back in the day when I was a teenager, I believe, or early 20s, I actually did make an exercise video. And I thought, oh, I could be a fitness instructor. Never went anywhere. So it was just funny that you mentioned that. But what inspires me or keeps me motivated today to be an entrepreneur, specifically in the world of entertainment, one is that I've always wanted to work in entertainment ever since I was a little kid. I also feel like, what else could I do? I don't feel like there's anything else I could do except interview artists and celebrities and performers. And since you mentioned specific people that keep me going, I mean, there are so many people I still want to interview. Of course, my number one dream interview is with Dolly Parton. I want to interview Debbie Gibson again. I want to interview Joe DiMessina again. I want to interview Cher, Madonna, all of my entertainment idols I want to speak with. So that is what keeps me going. And also the fact that I get to tell part of other people's stories of those who are just starting out in the business. It's very exciting to see where they are. And then a few years later, I get to speak to them and see where they've gotten to. It's all of that keeps me going.
I love that, Adam. I can hear the passion in your voice when you speak about it. So, of course, you're successful. Of course you are. Anyone else would like to answer?
I'll go. My first answer was hanging out with you guys keeps me going. Seeing the progress that you're making, and I feel like I'm touched by that and moved by that, and pulled along with you. The other thing that keeps me going, and it's rare, unfortunately, but it's when I hear from somebody who listens to the podcast and they tell me that it makes a difference for them, that it has made a difference for them. Or when I do photography for somebody, and for instance, there's some branding photography that I do branding photography for entrepreneurs like us. And there is one client that I have had who I see my photos all over everything she does. And it thrills me every time I see how they're being put to use. I'm like, oh, that's so fantastic. She's doing such a good job of using them and to promote what she's doing. So that's exciting. Or if I just did a wedding for somebody, like a city hall wedding, and to know that my photos make a difference to people, to know that the work I'm doing makes a difference to people, that is what keeps me going.
I love that, Yvonne. I think that we all want to see our stuff on socials, or hear someone say, oh my God, I've listened to your podcast, or I read your book. And it just makes you feel like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, maybe not like that, but anyone else?
I'll
Jill?
go. Oh, go ahead, Jill.
You're fine. You could have gone. For me, I am inspired, and I was going to say the same thing, Yvonne. Part one of that answer is by the community. Like watching each and every single person that I get to be in community with succeed and all your ideas definitely keeps me inspired of like, oh, I can do that too. But then I have those moments of doubt that I can't do this anymore. I rather just stop and go do something else that's a lot easier than me having to work this hard, until I look at the reason why I did this in the beginning. And I don't really want to be away from my child either and have the trouble of trying to find someone else to watch him if I'm stuck working. And I realized this is the whole point. And why would I give this up? This is the dream life and I'm making it happen. So that's my inspiration.
You're definitely making it happen, Jill. Definitely.
I had an answer before when I remembered the question. So now you got to remind me the question.
Who or what inspired you, Donna, or keeps inspiring you? Like when you started and even now, who or what, if one or the other or both?
Well, I also agree with the community and watching everybody's growth and success. And, to me, you were saying it, Kat, when somebody says, I was inspired by this or I was inspired by that, I love giving gifts and I teach people the benefit of giving gifts and showing appreciation and how that can help your business. And so when I get acknowledged from people that the gift they got, was, they think of me every day, that concept, is what I want to give to my clients so that happens to them. So when I hear my clients come back to me and say, oh my God, people are still calling us up because they love this gift, that to me is what keeps me going. And the other thing that keeps me going is when I first joined the community, I didn't have time for marketing. Okay, that's where I fell short. And so over the last several years, learning all of these hacks and tricks and tips and all that from Kim, and seeing how, there is a way that we could do it and sell and do everything else. And so that's what keeps me going is, trying to do it all, but yet also trying to carve out more time that I can go visit my granddaughter and grandson. So that's the goal.
I do have to say, if for anyone who's watching or listening, that if you ever receive a gift from Donna, you're not going to want to open it. It's so beautifully wrapped. I think mine sat there for like 3 days. My husband's like, are you going to open this? I go, don't you touch it. Don't touch it. I have to be ready.
It totally creates anticipation, doesn't it? Like I look at the way she puts a package together and it just blows me away.
And I know. It's like
I
you don't
show
even want to
John.
touch it.
I'll open it up and I'll show John. Look at what she did. Look at how she wrapped. Look what she did. It's amazing.
I know. It's like a work of art by itself. I'm just gonna say. So Donna, you're in the right field. I'm just gonna say. Okay.
Thank you.
Princess Kim White, would you like to jump in and answer the question?
Which one, Kat?
All of them, Kim. All of them. And I'm interested in finding out who or what continues to inspire you, because you've been in business. I think you were a child and you had your first business. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to hear the who, what, or whatever that could be that still influences you to what started when you started in business and who influences you even today.
So I hate to confess this, but in less than a week, it'll be 43 years that I have been doing business. So that's a long time for somebody who's only 20, I think one of the things that inspires me the most, and I didn't realize it until probably the last few years most, like really the revelation of it was I had such a hard time starting. I didn't have anyone around me to like help me understand or teach me about like the money part of business. There's a lot of things to business. I didn't have that in my life. And so now as a full-grown multi-decade, you know, owner of businesses, I actually recognize that around me that that's one of the things that keeps so many people from being able to do what they dream about. And when I think I was 13 or 14 when I got my rock. I've got this paperweight that I show everybody, but it says, what you dare to dream, dare to do. Well, sometimes when we're daring to do something, we don't have the ability to know what all we need to do that. And so I feel like that's kind of where I am like inspired and motivated both. I want to help everybody around me understand their options, their possibilities, their choices, the things that they can do in a much easier way because they're learning something, shorten the learning curve for those around you. And that, you all are some of my favorite people on the whole planet. You all inspire me all the day long because anytime you ask a question, I know you're working towards your dream. You're not just doing busy work. I don't believe in busy work. I think that's an important part. You're affecting lives, you're impacting other people. And that's a huge motivator and inspiration to me. So my answer is all of y'all. Like, that is my answer.
How did I know she was going to say something like that? Anyway, Kim, what I like to tell people is I'm 25 with 44 years of experience.
I love it. I love it.
Denise, would you like to answer?
I was just going to say, I was 10 when I had my kids, just so you know. Anyway, that's what I tell myself in the mirror every day. You were only 10 when they were born. What inspires me to keep going and every day is the people that I meet that I see the light bulbs go off. So that makes me and we've all talked about the feedback we get from people, whether it's a testimonial or, whatever we feel when we put something out into the world. It's a hard thing to step over that threshold and say, this is what I believe, to get on that soapbox that we all sometimes pull out. But when you actually see somebody go, oh, I could do this, and you kind of go, I've won. I'm good. Like that's all I need. Mind you, there's other things too that make business successful, but it really does fill the cup up a lot when you actually see you've had an impact on somebody that made things easier for them. So that's what I feel like.
I found it interesting when you said the light bulbs go off in other people. And all I could think of is my inspiration, what keeps me going is when I have light bulbs go off in my own head about my business. It's an inspiration. What can I say?
As long as you get it, that's all that matters, right, Kat? But I want to, in the time we have going here, I want to have everybody understand, as I said, it's all zigzag, right? There's no straight line to where we are today. But if we all reach back into our earlier years, whatever early years you want to choose from, are there things that were part of you that you see in yourself today that you've brought forward into your business? Like for me, I was that kid that always wanted to be a teacher. I was the one that loved the smell of mimeograph papers and loved to have the whole idea of, grading things and getting it right and doing all the organization. And I was a super nerd. And I've totally brought that forward. How about you guys?
So is it what do we bring of ourselves into our business?
What do you recognize from your early days or as you've grown into this business that you've carried forward?
Well, I guess since I'm unmiked, I'm going to say something. I would say from my younger days, I bring in my curiosity. I always had a curiosity as a kid. I feel like And since I know my parents are watching, they will correct me if my memory is wrong. But I feel like I always would ask why, or I would always want to know more about something. I feel like I asked a lot of questions as a kid, and I definitely have brought that into my business, which is probably why I am an interviewer, because I like to know things about people and what makes them tick.
I could see that, Adam. I could see you as a 3 or 4-year-old going, "Why? Why? How come? Why?"
I'll piggyback on that, Adam, because I think we share that. That one of the reasons that I loved performing was because it gave me a chance to step into another character's shoes and explore what it was like to be somebody else. And that came from curiosity. And I used that curiosity with the interviews for Late Bloomer Living. Um, the sense of the story has been the one theme that goes through all the pivots that I've done in my life, is that stories are so essential. I was a big reader as a kid. Um, and just curiosity about the world, which then relays into performing and doing people's photos and catching a moment of their lives together to hang on to and look back at years later. And then the performing is something that I use now. I never expected to get myself on camera doing what I'm doing now around Late Bloomer Living, because I actually don't enjoy being in front of a camera. I know it's odd because I'm a performer, and it was different being on stage with a script and rehearsal process and other actors to play off of and a set around you and costumes and all the things. And now here I am creating content that is just me saying what I think. And that's a whole other level of scary. But I think my performing background serves me when I do step in front of a camera. And it's fun.
Anybody else? Anything you've brought forward from your early years as a thread?
Well, I'll go. So, growing up, there were several things that I enjoyed, which was the theater, because I was in plays in elementary school all the way through college. I just knew I couldn't make a living doing it professionally, so I put that on the shelf. And I also loved clothes, and that's how I wound up in the fashion industry. Because somebody who was looking to place me somewhere and see if I had an interest said, "What about the fashion industry?" And I went, "Yeah, I like clothes." And so that's how I got there. And then so now I do sell apparel. I always liked nice things, so I get I get excited when I see products and things that I can share with people. But I also took the theater portion of my love and finally able to apply it to my current business by dressing up in costumes and being silly as part of showing people that there's ways to stand out from their competition. I'm not telling people to dress up in costume. I'm using that as my tool, but it is fun being able to do that. So all those little threads I'm able to use now, and I didn't even think of it until you asked the question.
And we are all better for it, Donna. Like the big show and tell, man. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Jill, how about you?
I keep trying to dig in my mind and think back, and it's the thing that comes up that I have that I feel like I've brought forward with me in this adventure is actually something I've been needing to unlearn in order to be better at what I do. And it's the wanting to work alone and do the discovery by myself, and the true autonomy, and not relying on others and not asking questions to get more information. And it's been something that has been really great in other places that I've worked or in other aspects of my life until I got here, where I've really needed to unlearn that and start learning to rely on others, on a team, in a community, and asking for help, not just trying to figure it out on my own. So kind of twisting that a little bit, instead of it being like something that's really helping me out, it's really something it's helping me realize I need to unlearn a lot too.
Wow, what a revelation. I'm sure there are a lot of us that could say the same thing, the things that you start with, what changes along the way, and you kind of go, yeah, that's not helping me. How about you, Kim? What have you brought forward, which is probably started when you were 2?
I don't remember that far back, Denise, but I do remember kindergarten. In kindergarten, my favorite day of the week is when we got to play in the little wood kitchen with all the play food and pans and stuff. I would always have a baby on my hip. I would have a cash register on the counter. I would be cooking, and I feel like it's true till today. I'm always doing those things. I love my kids, my grandbabies, like all of the different aspects of family. But I also truly love business. I almost feel like it's an art sometimes, the art of creating a business that goes to success, not just a business to keep me busy. And so I don't know why the busy keeps coming up in my mind today, but I think that that's one of the questions some people have as an entrepreneur is, are we just being busy? Like, are we just playing like in kindergarten? But truthfully, it taught me how to count better, even as a kindergartner. It helped me understand that there's a transaction and a relationship. Like, it takes both to do a business, not just one. So there are so many things from just my little brain where I loved that space. I loved that time that we got to do that. And I think it was Fridays. It was my turn, like our little group's turn, but I could not wait for that day because it was just delightful. And I think that's me today. I'm still doing those things. I'm still happiest in the middle of business, family, cooking. Like, I still love that. So I think it's followed me my whole life.
Amazing. You guys are all amazing. How about you, Kat? What have you brought forward?
I think bringing forward fitness has always been, I feel like fitness is like my superpower. I always have it on. I feel like Superwoman where I just have to take the clothes off and it says big old F for fitness on my chest. I think I bring that, my sense of humor, which has carried me through the best and worst times of my life. Curiosity, like Adam, asking the question. I was always the child that, I wanted to be out in the yard mowing the lawn and not my brother. I was never the one in the kitchen cooking. I always want to be outside. Having that curiosity, asking those questions. Why can't I be an entrepreneur? People kept telling me to stay here. And I'm like, why can't I go over there and play? Why do I have to stay here? And so I think staying curious, bringing that forward, keeping my sense of humor, because if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a sense of humor, we need to talk. Just saying. But I think those are the things that I bring forward.
And I think you bring them forward very well because your laugh is what inspires me to keep going back to class when we do class, because you wake me up in the morning and go, oh, well, if Kat's laughing at 7 a.m., then I should be too. That's what I'll say.
I love that, Denise.
I love it too. And we're getting close to halftime here, but I want to hear one word from everybody to describe how you feel about your business today. And I'm going to start and I'm going to say, I feel powerful. Powerful because I have the ability to help people that I never thought I would. So, who's next?
I think I feel grounded. Like where I am and what I'm doing is such a part of me that I feel good where I am. And not saying I can't move forward, but it's not something I have to learn. It's something that's been a part of me for years. So I think grounded.
I think for me, um, intentional. I mean, that is my word for the year, but it finally all clicked and all the pieces have come together for me to um, do this year and hopefully going forward intentionally, that the things I choose to do, the things I choose to share, my intention is to help people increase their business so that everything I do should have good intention.
Love that, Donna.
I would say that I feel grateful for my business because I'm grateful that I get to talk to all these amazing humans and stars and performers that I get to, but I'm also grateful for the community that I have been building through my digest and through my interviews, and for all the people that take an interest in them. I'm grateful for everybody. And then I'm, of course, grateful. I can't go without saying how grateful I am for this community who helps lift me up when I'm having those days of I'm on the struggle bus and I need help, or when I want to just celebrate something that I figured out behind the scenes. It's great to have a community around me for both of those things. So my word would be grateful.
I think for me, it's fulfilled, and it's because I find joy in all the little pieces of the things that I've either done or I get to do, and it just fills my cup. So I feel just fulfilled.
I think the one that keeps coming around for me is curious. And where that comes from is that my word for the year is actually expanding. But in order to expand, I have to stay curious. In order to be playful about where I'm going next in business, I have to stay curious. Everything comes from curiosity. That's where creativity comes from. That's where problem solving comes from, is when I can take a moment in a hot mess situation to go, oh, isn't this interesting? What can I learn from this? That curiosity then takes me on to what's next and the expanding.
I love that. How about you, Kim?
I think it's impactful. I think that that's my word I go back to a lot, because impact in a right way can change the world, even when you're only impacting a few people at a time. If they go on to really impact others and they go on to impact others, I feel like that is how we get a better world around us, a better world across the globe, and a lovely community. Like the impact that each of you have just makes me so happy and so proud, because you are impacting other people. You are making lives better by what you do. So, impactful is definitely the word I would use.
Well, I guess we are at our halftime. So we are going to throw back to our wonderful Yvonne and Jill to take us through our halftime show, and we'll be back for the second half of the summit right after.
Fantastic. Thank you.
What a great conversation.
Yes, it is.
You're oh no.
All right. Where are you?
I don't know. Where am I?
There you
Oh,
are.
here I am.
Here we go. All right.
That was a great conversation.
It
Wow.
really was. I'm glad we got to be a part of it. And I have to say, if anyone noticed, Yvonne and I, our eyes kind of darting off, we were trying to take notes so we can kind of have a little bit of a side conversation during this halftime and recap what we were talking about in this first half. So,
Yeah.
Yvonne, what did you get out of this?
Ooh, wow, so much. Some of the big takeaways that I noted were the idea of tapping back into what inspired you in the first place and how that can help you keep going when it gets hard. There was also something that I noticed when we started talking about the question, what have you carried forward with you
Yes.
from your younger life? I don't know if you've heard the phrase unfair advantage when it comes to business. So what gives you an unfair advantage in your business is something that sets you apart from other people because it can feel like you're all the same. But examples of that then for me in this conversation were Donna using her performance background, theater background, and getting into costumes to do edutainment for her business, her product branding business. That's an unfair advantage. That sets her apart, Adam's natural tendency to ask a lot of questions sets him apart as an interviewer. He leans into that natural curiosity. I mean, I could go on and on, right? And I also I think the last thing that I'll say that I really noted was Kim talking about building a business and looking at it as an art form. If we could all look at that, look at it as a craft and art to build our business, that's juicy.
Yeah. And I think at one point, I believe it was Kat who said, we really can't, it all makes sense as to our backgrounds and where we came from as to what we're doing now. And, if you're watching us for the first time and just getting to know us, you may not even realize that from the little bit that we've talked about so far. But it's so funny how for us, as we've started to share more in these situations in each summit, we learn more about each other. Like, I think it was even said that, I thought I knew everything about you when we were talking about Kim, and then it just surprised me. I think that's what you had said, Yvonne. Thought you knew everything about Kim, and then all of a sudden we learned something new. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity for us, not just in these summits, but in our businesses to share more about us so others get to know, oh, that's how you got here. I have something similar in my background too, and find that familiarity between us and others we're trying to build relationships with. So it's been pretty enlightening to hear about each of our background, because now I also feel that I know a little bit more about everyone too.
Yeah. And I'll say maybe this is something to talk about in the second half, but how much do you learn about yourself doing this? Like you think you know yourself until you become an entrepreneur. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't know that about myself. Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Kat is one of those people for me where, you said before, unfair advantage. I feel like we have this potential in each of us that we just don't realize. And it takes someone to be like, yeah, but I see you doing this. Why aren't you doing this? And bring it out of us. And that's where we can all of a sudden take it and run with it and have this whole new opportunity. But also it's like, now that we're in it, what else would we do? I love that came up in this first half. What else would we do? Like, we're fit into what we are doing now because it was a part of us all along. And what else would we do?
Yeah. One thing just builds on another, right? And
seriously.
Yeah, fantastic.
I love it. So I really think it's been a lot of fun to hear about what brought each of us to this point in our entrepreneurial adventures and what we are doing now and all the pieces that are bringing us here and inspiring us and helping us move forward and stay on this path.
Fantastic. So are we ready to go into intermission?
I
We've
think
got a
so.
really cool video, don't we?
Yes. So our video is about 5.5 minutes long. It gives everyone the opportunity to take a little dance break and see a little bit more about.
I'm starting early, Jill.
I know. See a little bit more about each of the speakers even now. So let's head into our intermission.
Well, this is exciting. I'm eager to get back to next part of the summit. Again, today we are bringing together a bunch of business owners to talk about the path to success and what brought us to our now and how that plays into where we're going.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the first half. If you caught it, if you have not, go ahead and go back to watch the replay after this is over. But we are very honored to be with each of our featured speakers today, our roundtable leaders and featured speakers. They have all been a part of inspiring each of us in our business journeys, our entrepreneurial adventures. They are who keep us going each week when we get to meet with them as well.
Truth.
So, yeah, I am Jill Olish, and this is Yvonne Marchese. We are your MCs today, and we'd love to introduce you to who is going to be in the roundtable today.
Absolutely. So Denise is going to be back as one of our leaders. She's the findability queen, as we like to say, and the host of the SEO Day podcast.
Yes, and Yvonne Marchese. She is the Age Agitator, host of the Late Bloomer Living, and founder of the Age Agitators Club.
Well, I didn't even introduce you, Jill. Ambassador of Moms, founder and leader of the Mama Outspoken Village.
We also have Donna Bender. She's the branding and marketing strategist, certified givologist, who is known for her surprise and delight marketing.
That's right. And our other leader of the roundtable discussion is Kat Corchado. She's our movement specialist and our resident military veteran.
We also have Adam Rothenberg. He is the interview king, as we call him, and the creator of the entertainment platform Call Me Adam.
And we should not forget the reason we're all here, Kim White, the founder and fierce leader of the My Sexy Business team and community.
Yes. So we will bring them up in just a second, but we are super excited to be jumping back into this conversation, talking about how we even got here in entrepreneurship. So, yeah, I guess we'll have everyone come back up to stage and get this conversation going.
Let's get this party started.
Woo. So we'll pass the mic back over to Kat and Denise, who are our leaders for this round, the second half of our discussion today.
Thank you, Jill. That was really smooth, how we just all came back. I'm like, oh, I like that. Just saying. All right, so our roundtable today, we're going to switch the conversation a little bit to success as an entrepreneur. We all want success in our business. As an entrepreneur, how do you measure success on a daily or weekly basis?
I'll go. Because I have a different viewpoint on success. And it's because I've carried this poem from Ralph Waldo Emerson inside of me for, I think, my whole career, his poem on success and what it really means. And I never can say this without getting melty. It's, if one life has breathed easier because I have lived, that is the meaning of success. And that has caused me to create the tagline on most of the branding that I do, which is, who will you inspire today? And so those two things combined is what my definition of success.
I think we can all just go home now, right?
Yeah, mic drop. That's the end of our show, folks. No, I'm just joking.
I think it's a great question that you pose, and I don't really have a clear answer as to how I measure success on a daily or weekly basis. I think I have to look at it sort of on an overall basis, sort of towards the end of the year, of, well, how much did I learn? How much did I get done? I measure some of my success by some of the feedback I get from people, whether if one of my interviews inspired somebody, or they were touched by it, or if one of my weekly digest, when I hear back from people, if something in there moved them somehow or made them think about something, then that's an element of success. I try not to measure it too much on the numbers on social media. I try not to let that dictate, as hard as I try. And I think I just have to also measure it on how I'm feeling with what I'm doing. And as long as I am happy with what I'm putting out there, then to me, I'm being successful.
You just said something that is key to me, Adam. It's like, as long as I'm happy with what I'm putting out there. When I started the podcast, I did ask myself this question. Well, what would be success? Is it the number of downloads that I'm going to get? Is it this, that, or the other? And the answer I came up for, that I have to tap back into often, is what I would consider successful is the who I have to become in order to do what I said I was going to do. Who do I have to become in order to get to what I want to do next? And so it's a little more selfish than Donna's answer, but it's all tied into the same thing, because why else would I be doing it? If it does mean everything in the world to me when I hear somebody tell me that they are listening to the podcast and it's making a difference for them. And that, combined with, is it what I want to be doing? Does it feed me as well? It's a symbiosis. It all goes together.
And can I just add one more thing? I think I also measure it by the relationships that I'm building and creating. I mean, I have met some amazing people, and I have made friends from this journey. I mean, one of my dear friends is watching right now, Tina. I mean, I have developed such a great relationship with her because of my interview. So to me, that's a huge success. And that's another way that I measure it too.
I think, Yvonne, I'm so similar with you in how you're measuring success, in that the impact that we can make, and if we'd have that evidence that something that we've done had made an impact for someone. I know I'm probably stealing Kim's answer with that too. But also on the other side of that is, for me, the whole reason why I got started, like, I had a problem and I solved it by doing this, is that still the solution for where I'm at today with my business and where my family's at. And I see that in, how I'm able to take care of my family. So that is success to me. I'm still living the life. I'm being living proof of what it's possible, the dream that I wanted, the freedom that I have. And that's the success that I'm measuring each and every day.
I love that. Yeah.
Wow. What a great answer, Jill. We don't have to answer anymore.
Again, we're done here.
We're done.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. I think I measure success every day, every week, every hour, is if in my heart it still resonates what I started with, is that there is something out there that I believe in, that I still believe I can share and will help people. And I think that's what keeps me grounded to, this is the right thing for me.
Kim?
Now I'm going to go a little bit different, since Jillo took my other answer, right? I think when I look at my week, because it's when I evaluate things, I do it every week, and I can see that I kept my priorities a priority. I kept the relationships that are important to me. I kept the things that make my life what it is, versus majoring on the minors, because a lot of times we get caught up in tasky things and we don't look up. So I think for me, success is measured daily, but it is measured for me when I sit down every week and I look back and say, okay, I made time for this person because they needed it. I did this thing because I promised and I kept my word. I did this thing because, and when I can look at my planner, which is what I use to do that, I look back at my week. That to me is, it may not be grandiose and I may not get some award, on some stage and red carpet and that stuff for the keeping my word to myself. But that's what makes me successful in life. And that's what makes me successful in business. So I think that's my biggest measure is really, did I? Did I do those things? Not the tick off lists.
I'm going to jump in and answer this question. We are all business owners, entrepreneurs. We also have lives. And you can't really separate the two. For me, sometimes success is I got through the day. Sometimes it's I batched my emails and I'm done. Or I'm over the hurdle on something that seems so huge and so big. It looked like the tallest mountain ever. And now I'm on the other side of it. So I think success is different for each and everybody. And even, for my podcast, if one person listens and it helps them, I'm good. I am good. So I think that we also have to think about our lives when we think about success, because sometimes the business side of whatever it is we were doing sucked for that day, but something in our lives is a huge uplift. You know what I'm saying? And so we kind of have to look at it from both sides. I think that's how I look at success.
Oh, the wisdom flows. Flows.
Right on, man. It's all tied together, right? You cannot separate your life from your business.
Yes. And so now I'm going to challenge everybody. So now we know that what's keeping us here. What's the hardest thing that you have realized that you didn't expect when you went into business? Okay, I'll start since you all are so quiet. The hardest thing for me was doing this, was being on camera, because I was definitely not a camera girl. I was a phone girl. I was fine to be in front of people, but definitely not this. So that was like one of my biggest challenges in the beginning.
I'm going to echo that and say that even though I am a performer, getting on camera to call attention to late bloomer living, so cringe. And honestly, every time I post a video, there's a cringe factor involved, heavy cringe factor, and it doesn't ever seem to go away, especially when I run into somebody who's local here that I live with, and they say, "Oh, I love those little videos that you do. They're just so fun." And I'm like, and I just want to crawl into a shell and say, "Oh my gosh, like I am fine. Like I can post them and get them out into the world, and like strangers are looking at them. That's all good. But the minute it's somebody I know and I kind of care about what they think about me, I kind of go, oh, you saw that thing, didn't you?" And that is a big challenge.
I'll go. Well, it's actually a combination of both you, Denise, and Yvonne, because I also did not like to get in front of the camera. And I had a challenge deciding whether or not I would do the things with costumes and post them on LinkedIn, all of the business platforms, and have people from my corporate years and people that I know, locally who are professionals see me in these costumes. And I really had an issue with it until it became part of who I am. And my whole point of I'm making a point by wearing the costumes. It's a business point. It's not like I'm just decided one day I'm going to get dressed up as a flower pot and talk to people. Although that could be fun. So that to me was the hardest thing, was letting people see that other side of me that was still, giving business suggestions and things to do with your business, but I was dressed up in a costume. So
My hardest thing is asking questions. And it is something I have been working on a lot for the last 2 years. And I think it's coupled with confidence, to be honest. And it's like one part of that is, not feeling confident that I don't already know the answer, but now learning that it's okay that I don't know the answer. And there's always the opportunity to find out the answer. But also then the confidence to want to and to need to learn more. But it also goes with what one of the answers was that I had from the first half was doing things on my own. So I didn't really ask a lot of questions because they were just questions I would go look up myself and not ask others for help. So that's been the hardest thing, is asking questions. Just seems silly, but for me,
It's not silly, Jill. I share that struggle.
I would say for me, the hardest thing is organizing my calendar or figuring out how to use my calendar to do the things that I need to do behind the scenes that are not conducting an interview. The only thing I want to do is conduct interviews. And I have to seriously find a better way to get all of these other things I need to do that are not front facing for everyone to see, but I need to do to help me run my business. I have to find better ways to get it on my calendar. So my calendar is the hardest thing that I didn't realize I would need to learn how to use when I started this business.
Can everybody raise their hands if they feel that too?
Yes. Thank you for admitting it, Adam, and your true confession.
Thank you. I would just like to say, though, do you notice who did not raise their hand?
Oh, yeah, I noticed.
Because she is a master of her calendar. And I don't think, Jill, did you raise your hand?
I did, because I do struggle with it,
Has everybody answered that question, or who are we missing?
Except for Kim.
Oh, I haven't answered it either.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kat. Please do.
Kim, you don't want to go? Oh, okay. Wow, what was the question? What are we talking?
What was harder than you expected? What was the one thing that surprised you that was really hard to do?
I still haven't done it yet. It's doing reels. I have this I don't mind being on camera like this. I don't mind being on camera teaching a class. But I've known for the past few months that I have to start having people see me. And that's when I get that cringe factor. Like, oh my God, that was awful. Why are you putting that out there? So I have to, my word for the year for 2026 is amplify, which means everything that I built, make it bigger, better, and louder. So yes, I'm going to be on Reels this year. At some point.
You've heard it here. Mark it down. It's happening.
I'm so excited about it too, Kat. Let me just say.
Me too.
Oh no, now I'm in trouble. She's heard it here.
So I think the hardest thing that I have ever done is honestly tied together with the confidence factor, because it's being myself, not worrying about the haters, not worrying about those that are going to judge me or reject me because of what I'm doing. And I think the hardest part of that is a lot of times we will focus on that one loud person and forget about the other, 1,000 people that we are actually impacting and helping and doing good with, and will change what we do because of the hater. And I think that is one of the lessons that I have learned and then learned and then learned and then learned. Like, I think it's an ongoing learning because there are times I think, I don't want to say that out loud. And I force myself to say it out loud because I'm not here for the people that don't like me. I'm not here for the people that are ugly, unkind. Like, I get all kinds of comments. I'm here for those who I have what they need, the solution they need, and I want to show up for them. So I think that that's a big part of all the entrepreneurial journey because you kind of have both ends of the spectrum. You have the people that maybe they want to be on camera and they want to tell everybody what to do, but maybe they've never done it. And then you have the other people who really have a solution to share and they're averse to doing that because of the fear of rejection and the fear of just judgment. Judgment's so heavy. It has ruined many a life, I think. And I just refuse to let that be the reason I am not showing up for someone who needs like what I have.
I think the common theme that I'm hearing from everybody, even with the calendar issue, is the need to get out of your own way so that you can do the things that are super important to you. Like I had to get over myself to get on camera, to reach people, to let them know what I'm talking about. And the funny thing is that I almost think that I have more reach through social media videos than I do through the podcast, because not everybody is a podcast listener. And so I had, in getting myself on camera, I got out of my own way to do something that's so cringy for me because it's so important for me to put this larger message in front of as many people as I can in a way that meets them where they are. And that's why I'm leaning into doing more YouTube. And how can I meet people where they are to reach them with what I want them to hear?
I love that, Yvonne. I think we all kind of go through that at some point. If it's not on a daily basis, it's somewhere in our journey. And speaking of our journey, I want you to think back, not quite the beginning of your business, but somewhere where you had that very first success, that very first when you went, oh, I did it, or it's this. And how did you celebrate that success? Because someone on the stage, and I won't name names, has always told us that when we have a success, we should celebrate it. So how did you celebrate? What was your success? And how did you celebrate that win?
Oh, I'll jump in.
Well, go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Yvonne. I was going to go ahead.
No, go, Donna. Go, Donna.
You go.
So I never expected to write a book. And the way I celebrated my In Full Bloom book was I got back on my roller skates. I got myself the roller skates I wanted. That was my celebration. And man, so much fun. What a great, fun way to celebrate, doing something that I never thought I could do.
There are two things that I can think of, and I still question whether I've celebrated them. That's the thing. Writing a book as well, and being able to have a live book launch was, to me, just one of the best things that I could do to celebrate writing the book. So maybe that is how I celebrated it, live with actual people. And so that whole experience was wonderful. The second one, no, I had a second one. Oh, was creating my big show and tell. Because 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I fought and kicked and screamed and said, I am never doing that again. And it was originally different because it was live and it was a lot of gathering of things. And now it's live too, but it's done in a different way. And I can include videos, and I can include other footage and have a conversation with Kim. And so to me, that was another success. They're both pretty. I weigh them like this. They're both pretty good for me.
And both are amazing, Donna.
Thank you, Kat.
One of my first successes was getting to interview Rue McClanahan, who played Blanche on The Golden Girls. It took I met her in May of 2000, I believe it was 2009, and I didn't receive her answers until July of that year. And I remember I was on vacation with my parents, and I decided to check my email, and all of a sudden there's an email from her manager recounting us meeting in May and saying, here are her answers. And so I celebrated by sitting there and crying, saying to myself something like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got Rue McClanahan's answers and I just got to interview Blanche from The Golden Girls. And just having a few moments to myself to enjoy receiving that email was everything to me.
That's huge, Adam. But I mean, everything you do is huge, so I'm not shocked.
We're gonna say it's my first success, I guess. Was my first hosting my first summit, and I'm trying to remember how I celebrated it, but I know for sure the one way I did celebrate was taking a picture of myself after. And I'm pretty sure the other thing I did was to just go rest, as we call it, guarding or melting. So it was definitely just go rest, but I also took a picture. And so that was one of the things that I try to do now with that instruction after doing something for the first time and being, celebrating it, to take a picture of how you look afterwards, and that feeling of success that it's done and you did it, and capturing that. So that is what I did for mine.
Kim?
Well, I will say she did a fabulous job, so she needed to take a picture and celebrate. So I think one of the things that I learned like quite a while ago was to not only celebrate by resting and to take the picture, because I think taking a picture when you do something, you have that moment that you can literally go back and look at. You don't have to post it anywhere if you don't want to, but you do have that to remember. I think the other thing is having something tangible, though. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be something huge, but having something you can touch on the days that you're like, oh, I can't do another event, or I can't do whatever it is that's challenging you. And you can go back and get that evidence, that tangible celebration thing, a rock, a ring. I know, Kat, you've gotten a ring from doing something. Anything you can go back and actually touch gives you that getting over that hump energy, is what I'm going to call it. So I think a lot of the things that I have done, I have so many little things that I have like celebrated along the way. One of my favorites, and if you all know me, I don't do lots of handbags and lots of I'm just not one of those people. But I went and got myself a bag that I wanted when we launched the magazine. And I can remember telling my husband, this is going to cost you a lot of money because you are buying me something lovely. And I want this because we had a lot of struggle launching the magazine. Like we hit our heads against a brick wall so many ways and so many times. But when it finally went out into the world, and like I carried that bag, I don't know, 1,000 times. You know what I mean? So every time I would touch that bag, I would think, we can do things. We can do hard things. We can do things when it looks like we can't do things. And so that bag, I love that I can take it with me places, because when I take it with me, it also reminds me I can do whatever I'm facing out in the world, not just in my little online world, but in the big world. I can also, just so y'all know, I can get through TSA with a podcast mic in that purse. We have proof of that too, going to New York. So, but that bag means a lot. It wasn't really about the bag at all. It's just something that gives me the freedom to carry that success with me. So
Retail
tangible.
therapy. Yes, please. Denise, did you get a chance to answer?
No, but that's okay. I have a bunch of little things. I have rocks, I have shells, I have little things that I have on my desk, and I usually try to pick one of those little things out and add a memory to it when I get something significant. I think when my book came out, I did reward myself with a remarkable tablet so I could be mobile when I was writing. So that was one of my big investments, but that was a while ago. I need some new ones. How about you, Kat?
This is going to sound, I don't know, maybe not weird. When I finally got married to the word entrepreneur, it switched something in my brain and I started thinking more like an entrepreneur. Where before, I was with that person that I sold everything under the bus. I mean, you name it, I tried to sell it. But I wasn't passionate about it. And I knew I was passionate about fitness. But when I finally made that switch and say I finally got married to entrepreneur, it changed everything in how I thought, how I felt, and everything's in line with that. Did I celebrate? I think I did a dance. I didn't buy anything, but I kind of danced. And it's changed everything for me up to this point.
It's amazing. So I want to ask everybody, this, as we've talked about the zigzag approach to where we are, let's turn it the other way. How has your business experience, your entrepreneurial experience changed you as a person?
I'm going to go first because I'm ready with an answer. I have grown so much because of so many different facets. I've had incredible mentorship. I have an incredible community. I have learned so much about myself and how to get out of my own way, like we were just saying before. But I have taken, and I'm going to say leadership, I think is my biggest proof of that for myself. I have taken it from being here all the way up to here in the way that I can lead, and not just in my business or in a community, but in so many more aspects of my life as a mom, as a wife, as a church member, as just a family member, as a friend. Like it has spilled over into every aspect of my life. And that's what I've gained the most out of becoming an entrepreneur and have learned the most of throughout that adventure too. So
I think Jill just answered that question for all of us, so we can move on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think for me, entrepreneurship has changed me as a person, or helped reinforce the idea that I can do anything I set my mind to it. Through all the struggles and adversity that goes along with entrepreneurship, I can see that I can rise above them and take them on and come out on the other side. And I may not be making millions of dollars, but I am very happy with what I am doing. And I really, like I said earlier, I can't imagine doing anything else. And I love the struggles because I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm learning more now than maybe I ever have, which I feel like is like the standard actor question when no matter what project they talk about, they're like, this is the best project I have ever worked on. But that's where it's at.
It's awesome, Adam. Anybody else?
I have learned that I am tenacious. That's what I've learned. And that confidence doesn't just exist in me or maybe anybody. The confidence for me comes from doing something over and over. And it's like lifting weights. And the more I do something, the more I put out those cringy reels, the easier it gets, even though it's still not easy. Confidence comes from doing, and yeah, I can do hard things.
Love that, Yvonne. Donna?
I have an answer, but I hope it goes with your question. Can you ask the question one more time?
How has your business changed you as a person?
Okay, I can answer that question. When I first joined this community and met Miss Kim White, my reason for getting involved with her was I couldn't do sales and my marketing. And so what I have learned by being in this community is how to batch things and how to put things together to create time for other things. And I never understood what she meant by that until I had it happen. And when I go to a doctor's office and the doctor's assistant says to me, "Who does your marketing?" And I say, "I do." They're like astonished that all that stuff could come out in one day. Wow. So I learned that, I could stop kicking and screaming now. And I'm a believer.
How about you, Kat? Did you answer?
I did not. I think in my everyday life, from just to being in business and being a podcaster, is I ask better questions, whether I'm at the doctor's, whether I'm in a meeting somewhere else. It helps me formulate questions that I have. Before I had the question, I wasn't quite sure how to say the question. And now I'm better able to ask questions that are relevant to me, questions that I want. And people are sometimes taken aback and they'll just go, I don't know how to answer that question. So I think in my life, I'm able to, even asking questions of myself, asking better questions. So I think that's really important for me.
I love that, Kat. I think it's changed. My business changed that. I guess when I was doing corporate, I was trying to fit into molds and fit into roles and to do things that were needed. But I think my business has allowed me to stand up for what I believe in and actually come forward with something I believe in. So I think that's a difference that you don't always get to have. So I'm very, very grateful for that. So Kim, how has your business changed you?
I think one of the biggest ways is confidence. And one of my favorite confidence quotes is, true confidence is when you can walk into a room and you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. And I think taking the pressure off and being able to be truly interested in someone else and not thinking about what someone's thinking about you, or what someone is judging you, or if you laugh too loud, or if whatever it is. I think that that is probably the best gift I've gotten over the decades, because I was so extremely shy when I was little, to go now to I do have confidence. I am fierce, and in a kind way, not not cocky, not braggadocious, but I know what I'm doing, and I know what I bring to the table. And I think that's a big difference from whenever I was younger. So,
Well, I think it's time that we go to final thoughts. Anybody want to jump in? You got your final thought ready?
I'll go. I just want to, first of all, thank everybody for joining us today for the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit. It has been great having you watch us, or if you're watching the replay. And I really enjoyed this conversation today. I think both the first part and the second part, we had a wonderful discussion about the real path to success. And I am very grateful for everybody on this stage who is on this journey with me, and that we all get to be on it together. So thank you. And thank you for being here.
Ditto.
Cheating.
What he said. um, I think it was a great conversation, both sessions. And I think I learned a lot about everybody else I didn't know before. And, when you think you're with people often, a lot of these questions don't come up. So it's always a great learning opportunity. And I love them. And so, yes, I thank everybody for watching, and I love you guys, and happy to be part of the community.
Ditto. No, seriously, ditto. I think one other way, I'll just go back to that last question of one way that this business has changed me is in the relationship building that it has afforded me the chance to create, like to be with you guys on an ongoing basis to help me keep going on the hard days. The people that I've interviewed on the podcast, who I have stayed in touch with, many of them, and continue to be inspired by them. I tend to surround myself with examples of what's possible these days, and that is gold.
I think by the end of each summit that we've done, I've not just learned a little bit about everyone on the stage with me, but I've learned a deeper sense of some of the things that I'd never understood about myself, that I can finally put to words some of the things that maybe might be underlying to a lot of my fears, my excitement, my success, whatever it may be. So it's just so eye-opening and revealing, being able to have these conversations each quarter, and with the ability to even share this with the whole world, live streaming and having a replay available, is so impactful, knowing that there's someone else probably out there like me listening in saying, oh, that's what that was that I was feeling, and now can put something to it. So thank you for being a part of this conversation with me and helping me see that. And thank you guys for watching.
That's awesome, Jill. I'm just going to say real quick, for anybody who is watching this replay, I hope that this inspires you to realize that there is no one way, there is no one path, that we all come from different perspectives, and all we're doing is trying to stay true to ourselves and do the best we can for the people out there, and that everybody can do this. And so I'm really thankful for all of you.
Okay, my turn. Ditto to what everybody said, but also these summits kind of reiterate or reinforce in me that I'm where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. And for anyone out there, when Denise said there's no straight line, there isn't a straight line. If someone says, "Oh, I went from 0 to 100 million in a year," you got to question it. Okay? You just got to question it. But also that you can do this, but you have to be patient and you have to take it step by step. You don't build a house by starting at the top. You build a house from the bottom up. And I thank everyone for watching this, if you're watching this on replay. And also, if you have questions, you guys have seen us in other places, reach out to us and ask us those questions. You can do this. If I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm just saying.
Kim, did you have final thoughts? All right, we'll toss it back to Yvonne and Jill to wrap us up. Thank you all.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching so much. Thank you guys for the conversation today. We wanted to share a little bit more about everyone on the stage, all of our speakers, our entrepreneurs, before we leave, and give you more information because, like Kat said, we are welcome to connecting, and we want you to know how to reach us, how to get just more information about us, about how to find us, all that stuff. So yeah,
there are goodies to be had. If you want to stay in touch with us, you can go to mysexybusiness.com/FES. That's for Fierce Entrepreneur Summit. And you can get a visual there. One of the first freebies you can get there is Adam's entertainment platform. Go look at Call Me Adam. It's a great way to dip in and dip out and get little juicy tidbits of information about people in the entertainment industry.
Yes. And then next we have Yvonne Marchese's information here. She has a fantastic freebie on 10 playful prompts for midlife joy. Really for anyone. You don't have to be in your midlife because we all need joy in our lives.
True.
So you can connect with her at latebloomerliving.com. But when you push that button, it will get you right to that website so you can sign up for your free download. It comes right to you as soon as you sign up for it. So it's, again, her 10 playful prompts for midlife joy.
Right. And Jill, I believe your one thing to send people to is the Mama Outspoken podcast. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
For any moms out there who are struggling, I wish I had a Jill in my life when my kids were little. Go check out the Mama Outspoken podcast.
Yes. And then we have Kat Corchado. And Kat has always believed in try before you buy. So she offers a complimentary session for her Pilates class in, hold on, because it says Small Space Pilates, but I have to get this right because it is no longer Small Space Pilates, but it's the Fit for Life Alliance. And you're going to want to click on that to try it out. She does an amazing job in directing everyone in her classes and making it a wonderful experience of movement and getting started.
Right on. And for Donna Bender, you need to go check out the Big Show and Tell. She will be in costumes. It's usually on the last Tuesday of every month. And replays are available on her YouTube channel as well. And again, it's all there on the mysexybusiness.com/FES. You can find any of these.
Yes. And last, we have Denise Millay. She, as we said in the very beginning, is our findability queen, and she talks all about SEO and making your website work for you and being found. So she has the perfect keywords guide for you available now. So you click on that button, it'll bring you right to sign up with your email. Again, all of these things are free, whether it be YouTube or visiting Adam's entertainment platform or my podcast, but also anything that you're going to be signing up for, it just costs your email. So we're not trying to get you to do anything that is going to cost you something other than just an email, because we got to get you the link. We got to get you a way to get what you're asking for. But yeah, that's everyone, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And do we have any Do you want to say a final goodbye, Miss Kim?
I would like to invite everyone to the community.
Yes.
We have an amazing vision board party that's coming up. If you have never done a vision board, it's okay. Jillo is the host, and she will help you understand why you even want to do one. But there's science behind it, and it will help you get clarity. So I would love to invite everybody to come to that. If you go to mysexybusiness.com, that front page is loaded with all the different things that we do in this community.
Mm-hmm.
But we would love for you to join the community. The vision board party's free. The community's free. We do have paid spaces, but the big community is someplace to come and connect with everybody. So I want to put that invitation out there. The vision board party is January 28th.
Yes.
At 10 a.m. Mountain Time, I think.
Yes, you got it. Yes.
I'm trying to switch over, y'all. But it's a great space to just come, because I know for a lot of us, we talk about doing a vision board party and then we keep talking about it and then we keep talking about it. But this is a space to actually come and do it. We do a digital version. So come join us.
Yes, it's a good time. And it helps get your vision out. And I mean, to be honest, it's where this started. The summit, a lot of the other things that the My Sexy Business community does all started because of a vision board. It was part of what an entrepreneur's vision looked like.
Pretty sexy, if I may say so myself.
Vision boards are great. We do them every quarter, which is cool because we get to see the progress. We get to see what comes in and out of focus. And I was not someone who did this early on, but doing it electronically just makes the whole thing come to life so much more easily.
I just want to say I got my bathroom painted like days after one. It was crazy. And it wasn't on the plan to do it. I put it on the vision board and poof, my husband was like, let's get it done. It's on your vision board? Let's go. I've been asking for years.
So maybe that's another way to market the vision board party. Your husband will look at your board and want to do things.
With any luck.
Well, we hope you join us soon. We will be back in April for another summit. We'll be back Friday for Good Morning Entrepreneurs, our weekly live stream that all of these lovely faces participate in and make happen. And we love y'all.